welcome to Western Wisconsin Journal. I'm Bobby Pominville, and I'm your reporter on the arts. And I have a guest today who I'm totally excited to interview. She's always got great concerts coming up and great ideas. Dr. Kris Tjornehoj, welcome to the show.
Thank you. I'm very happy to be here.
And you've been here before. So she is a professor of music at University of Wisconsin River Falls, and she is the department chair. She also is a conductor of the St. Croix Valley Symphony Orchestra, and we definitely want to talk about that today. So welcome here, and tell us about your job there at the university.
Well, thank you, Bobby. I'm new as the chair. I've been working at the University of Wisconsin River Falls for over 20 years, where I conduct the St. Croix Valley Symphony Orchestra that I've created as a result of some students, adults in the community, etc. It's housed and we rehearse there on Monday evenings. I conduct the symphony band, which is an academic class, if you will, and that is geared toward our music majors. And I also conduct the St. Croix Valley Symphony Orchestra, the St. Croix Valley Symphony Band in the summers. Right. That does the concert series outside in a variety of places. And I teach related courses in education, where my heart is, education.
Oh, that's wonderful. And I almost wish I could take some of those classes again from you. I think that would be so enlightening. But anyway, what is your educational background? How did you get to that position? Of course, you and I are former colleagues from Hudson Schools.
That's right. My first job out of college, went to Luther College in Decorah, Iowa. I grew up in New Richmond, Wisconsin. And my first job right out of college was Hudson Middle School. And I taught the band and the choir. And then after a couple years, you came on board to do the choir.
Yes.
And I ended up transferring, if you will, to the high school. Taught there for a while, did the whole marching scene and the bands and jazz bands and all of those great things. And it was very difficult for me to leave that because I loved working at Hudson High School. And yet there was something else calling and tugging at me, and that was at the university, getting a lot of push and encouragement to do that. So I went to the University of Wisconsin River Falls, where I have worked for a long time. And love creating events and traveling. That's been probably the biggest bonus, if you will, of working at the university, is the travel opportunities that you create for students, for staff, for colleagues, and the lifelong research that's required of me as a professor. I love lifelong learning.
Oh, you just have such a great attitude, and you've brought so much to that position. And we have so much to talk about because of these groups you've formed and how successful it is. And I guess I want to start with Anthony Kearns.
Okay.
Because I know you're bringing him back to the Valley for a concert at Trinity Lutheran Church in Stillwater. And this will be on November 1st. And I see that he's, quote unquote, Ireland's finest tenor, and I want you to speak more about that because I think, if I remember right, he was in a very special group of tenors.
And he still is.
And he still is. And that includes your St. Croix Valley Symphony Orchestra and the Trinity Lutheran Choir. So now I've told a little bit about it, but I'd like to hear some input from you.
So I had this opportunity a couple years ago to host this gentleman, Anthony Kearns. And I had worked through his agent, and a number of people and some other folks knew him. And so I took a real large risk and said, sure, I'll host somebody of his stature. And needless to say, it's pretty high profile. He resides in Dublin, Ireland. He's one of the 3 tenors traveling the world. All those PBS specials of the Irish tenors, definitely you'll find Anthony Kearns on that group. So that is his role. And he's got a couple CDs out, and he's paid to have all of his music orchestrated, and we are the ones who then are playing the live orchestra. So he doesn't always get the opportunity to perform with live orchestra, but he's done recordings with orchestras that he's hired. So when the three tenors travel around the country and they're agent, that's probably his main source of income and everything like that. But it's, again, it's a household name for those people who follow Irish tenors.
Yes.
My first 3 ticket calls that came in for this concert were, the first one was Saskatchewan, Canada. The second one was Everett, Washington. And the third one was in Maryland.
Really?
Yeah, it's so interesting because this is what's so funny. Here he is, of this international stature, coming to perform with our orchestra at Trinity and the Trinity Choir with Carol Carver. And people know him all over the world, and he has a following. There's one woman who said, now, what's the closest airport and where should I stay?
Oh,
they
my,
fly
I never realized
in.
that.
Oh, this is a big deal. So they fly in, and he doesn't do that many solo performances because he travels, let me rephrase that, in the United States.
Yes.
He does in Ireland, so should you choose to go watch him there. But he's typically performing with the 3 Irish tenors.
Wow. Now tell us about the music. What might we hear from Anthony?
Anthony knows how to program. He knows how to please a crowd, and he is just a consummate actor and performer as well. So it makes it so delightful to work with him.
Oh.
He's like the sun I might have known if God had granted me a son. The summers die one by one, how soon they fly on and on, and I am old and will be gone. Granada, Manola, cantada in coplas preciosas. No tengo otra cosa que darte que el ramo de rosas. De rosas de suave fragancia que lieri en gran marco la Virgen morena. Granada, tu tierra está llena de lindas mujeres, de sangre y de sol.
And some of the music that you'll hear is When Irish Eyes Are Smiling. No concert's complete without Danny Boy.
Oh, yes.
And then he is also an opera star, right?
Right.
And so he will give us some of the highlights in the opera tenor world. O Solo Mio, La Donna Mobile, Granada is one of his signature pieces. And then he, being All Saints Sunday, is going to sing Near My God to Thee, and some other things that are very audience friendly.
Oh, and it sounds a little bit similar to 2 years ago, and it was just a wonderful program. I do remember that music is so special. And to hear it sung by a trained Irish tenor, someone of his caliber, I mean, that really should attract a big audience.
Yes, there is limited VIP reception.
Oh, yes.
And that's also, you know,
oh, I know.
That's very important.
I had to do that, you know.
Yes, I hope you do it again.
And it includes a dinner reception.
It does.
And the cost for that is $125. But
Correct.
the other tickets, the general admission, are $25, which is really a wonderful price.
I would agree.
And I have a little bit of a concern. I think we could very easily fill up that church.
I hope so.
Yeah, I think we will. And the concert starts at 3 p.m. I don't think I said that, but remember now, November 1st, it's on a Sunday, so it's a great time for that concert. I mean, you're going to get a huge audience.
I hope so.
And we're going to put up a number for the Art Reach on the screen here so that people can find out where to go.
Terrific.
And I don't know, is it on your website too, or can they find information on your
Couple
website?
places, scvsymphony.org.
Right.
And then, let's see, where else can you find this information? That's the best place.
Yeah.
And I do believe there's a link from the uwrf.edu/music page as well.
Oh, perfect. So there's lots of ways to get a hold of the information.
Or call me. Yeah.
Or we can call you.
Yeah, it's so simple.
Okay. Are we going to put a number up?
You can.
All right. All right, we'll do that then. But anyway, this is just an outstanding concert. I really must encourage everybody to come, and you would enjoy it so very, very much. So do consider it. It's coming up very fast now. We have, actually, the day we're doing the interview, we're a month out. So I would get those tickets as soon as possible, because I am sure it's going to sell out. I really am.
Thank you.
And I think you brought a wonderful program to the Valley with Anthony Kearns. So
thank you.
Kudos to you.
And Carol Carver, she and I have
Carol
met.
Carver,
She's
the
an
director of the choir.
Right, so we'll be collaborating in orchestral arrangements, and it's good. I promise it will be an entertaining and spiritually rewarding event for all.
Yes, it will. Oh my goodness. Now, we have other concerts to talk about.
Okay.
But one of the things that you brought to the university is the coffee concert series.
Yes.
Now, that's your brainchild. So how did that begin and when?
Yes. That started, was it only a year ago, it seems? Yeah, I started in the fall. Let's see, my first concert was December, and that would be 2013.
Okay.
And what it was is I had a couple new staff members, and they were just fantastic musicians, and I saw a poster on their door that said that they had performed at in Chanhassen at the Arboretum.
Oh.
And I said, well, I can't go to that event. Would you come play for me? And they laughed, of course. And I said, no, seriously, I will create an event, and would you please perform, because I can't get to that event. And actually, yeah, and so that's really where this started, and said, well, gosh, I think we could do this. I think my friends would come. And I said, well, just let me know what it would, cost, etc. So we tried it in December, and then it was well attended. I just put it out there Fridays at noon, and we've even done a couple Wednesdays at noon, which is another topic, but mostly they're Fridays at noon, and they're free. So I got sponsorship, myself and a couple other people that I know love the arts, and then now a retired professor, and now we get some funding from the Mary Ella Jerome Family Foundation, and this just helps us support these great musicians, and these are world-class musicians who come and play on Fridays, or like I said, during the noon hour. It started as a brown bag, and of course we don't really have people eat in the hall, and that was a bit of a distraction, so we just took all that away and made it a coffee concert.
Yes.
And so we have afterwards coffee, tea, refreshments.
Yes, and it's a wonderful, wonderful idea.
Great networking.
Oh, it is. Just wonderful.
It's been really fun.
And we must say where it is. It's at Kleinpell.
Yes, it's at the William Abbott Concert Hall in Kleinpell Fine Arts on the campus of UW River Falls.
So 12 noon?
12 noon.
And would you say it's an hour or less?
It's 50 minutes.
50 minutes, and then you can have your coffee or whatever after. And of course, it's always fun to talk with people and talk to the artist if you can.
Right. Yeah, and the artists all know that they have to come into the lobby. Like the next one, October 9th, Sarah Porwell, she's got a CD release this month, and this is actually part of her release program. And so she is going to be performing music by 3 Minnesota composers.
Oh.
So not all of this is, it runs the gamut from new music that Sarah's going to do. Let's see, we had the Boston Brass and their show 2 weeks ago. We had Laura Caviani and David Milne, a jazz duo, last week.
Yes.
And then, there's other ones. We've got a Shostakovich Wind Quintet. I think it's October 23rd. And then in November, I have another trio, a voice person, Crystal Palmquist, who's been very active in vocal lessons.
Oh, wonderful.
Yeah, so she's performing. And anyway, there's a variety. And then let's see, December, we've got some holiday carols with Margaret Jane Ray and Skip James.
Oh, they're coming back.
Yes.
Oh, that's wonderful. And I was going to bring up Skip James because I thought possibly that's the one I've attended in the past. But to have someone of that caliber in our local area, and he loves to come and perform.
Well, he's actually performing for one of my other outreach events, which is called the Lively Lunch, which at the Phipps Center. And so Skip
and Margaret, I come to those.
I do. And Skip and Margaret are doing a song cycle of Schubert. And that is actually next Thursday, whatever that date is.
Next Thursday?
No,
I didn't know
October 8th. So we'll have to make sure that we communicate that to you as well.
Yes.
So lots of great things using these amazing musicians. Margaret, as you know, has been with the Metropolitan Opera for years and years. And she is a talent. We are just surrounded with great people.
We are.
So it's my honor to put them together and be sort of an artistic director and produce their concerts.
And you probably know this, but they have been performing off and on at Bethel too.
Yes.
For church and for other events.
It's wonderful.
So, yes, we're very lucky we have that in our midst, and to be able to hear them collaborating together is wonderful. And your last coffee concert was Leighton Skips James. Wasn't it? Or am
my coffee concert.
Yeah, the coffee one.
We've had him on the coffee concert series. In fact, he's also doing March. He's going to be doing Vivaldi's Four Seasons as the keyboardist there.
Really?
And Natalia Moiseyeva is going to be our violinist.
Wonderful.
She's with the Minnesota Opera, Minnesota Orchestra part-time.
All right.
And she's just all over the place as well. So we're just surrounded with great musicians, and so many of them work part-time on our staff at UW River Falls. So I like to support it. So that's how the coffee concert started, was that Yvonne Konev said, sure, we can bring our friends here and let's make it happen. So we have quite a variety. In fact, you should see the faculty. They email me and they're like, I've got this duo, I've got that duo, I've got this quartet. We're doing this performance here. Can we do it? So it's a juggling game.
Yes, it is. I'm sure
wonderful.
it is.
It's wonderful.
How great. And I see you have a poster here for homecoming. So you've got a little concert going on then?
Well, and most universities do concerts around homecoming. So that's something you can find on an annual basis. Some of the things you're absolutely secure of is that you'll get, we've got our band and our jazz band on a Saturday night, and then our choirs, of which there's six choirs plus the alumni choir. Those are usually Sunday afternoons at 3.
Yeah, now this is where you would have to, I don't know if you're going to see the show in time to do this, but I hope you do, because I think it'll be playing Friday.
There are plenty other concerts that we have, and so we encourage you to look at the uwrf.edu/music website, because there are lots of concerts. And then the band has one, 2 weeks later in October, and we just pepper the.
So we're not talking about everything right now, but there's a lot more, and hopefully you can visit that website, or you can get information from myself, or by calling the studio, or later we'll put up Kris's number too. But another really exciting one for me is you are bringing your symphony orchestra to the Phipps Center for Christmas.
Now this is a first.
I am so excited about that.
We have never been on the Phipps series. And I am honored to perform there, because I consider the Phipps Center to be the center of cultural activity for this whole region.
I do too, and I think it's just marvelous that you're going to be playing there. And I have the date written down. It's December 19th at 7:30 p.m. And what do you visualize for that concert?
Oh, I haven't told anyone yet.
No, I might be able to get a little information from you.
So that is a Saturday evening. We do expect that to sell out, because there are a limited number of seats available. So I have a quartet that I've hired. They're called From the Heart. And so you can visit their website, From the Heart. And so these are amazing musicians, and it's a husband and wife team, 2 vocal, and then there's a pianist and a clarinetist. And all of them, they collaborate, they've made CDs, they've got just a heart for producing music. So they do their own concert series, usually on the western side of Minneapolis. And so I've got Dana Mathewson is arranging some of the music for that group and the orchestra.
Okay.
So we've got some special stuff there. Then the other thing that I use to program that concert, you just can't get away from the holidays without hearing the Boston Pops
I agree.
famous arrangements. I don't care how many events you can do. You expect to hear Leroy Anderson. You expect to hear Sleigh Ride. You expect to hear Bugler's Holiday. You expect to hear, you know, a Christmas festival. And if you didn't, I would think you'd be very sad.
Oh, yes, you must. You must. That's one CD I take out every year.
Right. And so we'll be performing those live, plus a variety of other pieces and soloists. If you remember Tim Swanson?
Yes.
He's got quite the voice. You'll hear him sing "Oh Holy Night," and it's a rendition that's just amazing. He's originally from Ellsworth, and he's a pilot, as you know, for Cargill. And he lives in Stillwater. But when that man stands up and sings, it's just beautiful.
That's what we want to hear, is the music of the past. And, you know, through the years, and the vocals going with the orchestra are just perfect.
Right.
So you've got a lot of things, a lot of ideas going there.
I do.
And
I haven't figured out how to get the snow, but I know they can do it.
I know they can.
I know they can. So we'll figure out a
They
way
did
to
it
do
last year for White Christmas.
Yes. So
I am sure we can talk to somebody down there.
So we're really looking forward to staging that production for you.
And I do think, once again, that's going to sell out very fast. So you need to get in touch with the Phipps box office or the website. And I know we put that up many times, but we'll put that on the screen again too, so we don't have to talk about that here. Now, what have we forgotten about?
Well,
that's my list, but there must be more.
I'm trying to think what else I've got going.
And we might have to bring you back in again after the new year, because you've got so many things going on.
I do. And can I just tell you where my inspiration has come from?
Yes, I would love to hear
I have a gentleman that I served on one of the arts boards within the region.
Oh, right.
And in fact, his name is Bill McCarthy. And I remember we would have tea. Do you know that gentleman?
Yeah, that name's very familiar.
Yeah, he's a very inspirational person who is a leader in the business world and an executive groomer. And so I served on an arts board with him, and he'd sit there and say, "So if you could do anything, what would you do?" And I said, "Oh, I would bring my love of travel and my connections with international musicians and artists and composers. I would bring that here so other people could have the same joy and inspiration." Yes. And then I remember him leaning over the table at Urban Olive and Vine, and he said, "And what are you waiting for?"
Really?
And I said, "I'm not sure." And I suppose funding would always be your number one excuse, but you know what?
True.
We're just going for it, and people have been generous to donate so that all these things could happen, because you're right, there's no general budgets that support any of this. And Bill's challenged me to do this, and it has in a way enhanced my life, because I do love to travel.
Yes.
I love to travel, and so my joy is bringing people with me abroad, and then exploring and seeing their lives change and enhance. Of course, it started with student groups, and now I have a group called the Three Rivers Concert Band. Have you heard about that one?
No, I haven't.
And what the Three Rivers Concert Band is it started, again, I asked my students at River Falls always, would you like to do this? And I create an event. But with the way fiscal constraints and challenges have hit, our country, not all students can make an opportunity like this happen, nor do I want to encourage them to spend money that they don't have.
Well, that's true.
So I have to be respectful of all that. So what I did is teamed up with University of Minnesota in Mankato.
Oh.
And we looked at how many rivers we cross between River Falls and Mankato, and it is actually more than 3. But if you think of our life, you can call it the Kinney or the St. Croix or the Mississippi or the Minnesota River, right? You can call it any of these rivers. So we just called it Three Rivers, or I called it Three Rivers Concert Band. And our last trip was to Spain. And I put a performance group together. And what are the chances it would be a perfectly balanced ensemble? And we performed throughout Spain. And so then this next summer, we are doing Budapest, Hungary, Vienna, Austria, and Prague in the Czech Republic.
Oh, yes, yes.
And so I put these trips together, and it's really for anyone that wants to go. And it's geared, of course, toward artistic collaboration in these countries.
Yes.
And we make lifelong friends.
Oh.
So I invite a lot of those people over. Like this, one of the composers from Madrid will be over in the spring.
Yes.
And one of the conductors from Spain that I met is bringing his band here next July.
Oh.
So this international bridge, if you will, that I've created is a great joy for me.
All right.
And last year I conducted in Prague.
Yes.
The police band.
Oh, yes.
And so that, of course, that connection, as I was a guest conductor for the American Spring Festival,
right.
That connection, I've been invited back in 2017.
Oh.
But that is, then I'm bringing my band over, and then their conductor, Václav Blahunek, will conduct the Three Rivers Concert Band.
Oh, right.
So I'm just trying to create an international presence. No, I'm not trying to create it, but it's happened.
Oh, yes.
Where our people, anybody who's affiliated with music and loves that, now has a vehicle.
That's wonderful. Now, I have to ask, is this an audition group?
Well, it is
or
not,
how do
but
you choose the players?
I do speak with you and make sure, like, you know, I just make sure that it's a good group and it's a respectable group. And did you know you have to be fun?
Yes.
Yeah, you have to have a good attitude.
I do
Otherwise,
agree
I
with
don't
that.
need you in the group because there's other people. So I look for the people with a positive spirit who really want to serve others with music as their tool.
And how many would you say are in that group? Just
well,
roughly.
It will be right around 40.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
So the community band that meets in the summer is upwards of 75. Our St. Croix Valley, so those people all get an invitation. They're in.
Oh, yes, of course.
So those are the kind of people that I, if you will, invite.
Yes.
But I'm open.
Well, and you've got access to so many different venues and concerts and musicians. So this is perfect. So it's another formation of another group.
Well, it sort of is.
Well, my goodness. And how wonderful to be international, and actually that's what music should be all about.
It should be, because this is how you create peace and communication, and you share that common spirit and that bond for things that are good.
And it is the universal language. So that is what we've always been taught, but a lot of us haven't gotten to really spread too far. So I like what you're doing. This is great.
Thank you.
Wonderful. This is just such fun to talk to you. I mean, I see you occasionally, but we never get on the music scene too much because we have a few other things to talk about. Well, have I forgotten anything now? Is there anything else you wanted to mention?
Not really. Just
get
out there and support the arts.
So I am
in a time, if you have the resources to donate to your favorite place, your favorite charity, whatever it is, we are in a time of fiscal constraints where the arts are suffering, and so we just need to be respectful. And if you really believe in something, and if you believe in the cause, just get out there and support it, whatever it is.
That's well said, and I totally agree with you. So I do want to encourage people that are watching today, and I hope you have enjoyed the show, gotten lots of ideas for stretching your musical imagination, for going to events, and please do, support the music in the Valley. And I have one other thing to suggest to you. I sometimes give you suggestions on what to attend. Well, I am going to be singing at the Guthrie Theater this year, and it's on October 24th with the St. Croix Sacred Vocal Ensemble, actually based in Bayport, Minnesota, and directed by my friend Daniel Baumgartner. And we will be singing at a play called The Events. It's about the tragic events in Oslo, Norway, where there was a shooting of several people at a camp, youngsters, and then there was also a bomb connected to that in Oslo, which is very dear to me since I have visited Oslo many times and have a Norwegian background. So if you're interested in this play, and the music is really quite stunning, a lot of it is composed already for the play, but you will also hear some familiar things and I think you'd enjoy it. So think about coming the day I'm performing, October 24th at 1 or 7:30 p.m., but remember it's also on throughout the month. So go on the website for the Guthrie Theater and see if you would like to attend that particular play, and I think the Guthrie is just a wonderful venue. And I'm excited to be doing something new that I've never done in my life. So Kris, thank you so much for coming today again. I have enjoyed talking with you, and we hope that you will put some music in your life. Thank you for watching.
Oh, Danny boy, the pipes are calling from glen to glen and down the mountainside. He's like the sun I might have